Hey, beautiful people. It is your girl, Daunessy Shaitaire, back at it again with another back at it again. OMG. Y'all, I felt like it has been forever since I talked to y'all. I felt like it has been forever. I could not wait to upload a new podcast episode. I could not wait to talk to you guys again. If you were here with us Friday night, we had a good time at our first episode of Healing After Dark. I am so excited about that segment, y'all. It don't even make no sense how excited I am. Today, I am really going to take a first crack at recording both the podcast episode and the YouTube episodes. We'll have everything set up for me for the podcast in front of me, as well as the camera set up in front of me, recording the episode for the YouTube channel. So I'm just hoping that everything works out well and that it comes across as great as I needed to. But y'all, welcome back. It is your girl, Daunessy Shaitaire, back at it again with another episode of Conversations with God through you. I am so excited, y'all. Like, I am having so much fun with this journey this time around. It doesn't even make no sense. If y'all know how many years I have been trying and failing and trying and failing, not even failing, trying and starting again with the podcast, with the YouTube, with this whole dynamic that I am working towards cultivating here with us at Conversations Through God underneath the Aligned as Fuck umbrella. It has been a journey for the past couple of years of me just giving up on myself, 3 feet away from the gold. If you have ever read Napoleon Hill's book, Thoughts, I forget what the title is, but you guys know what the book I'm talking about. The thoughts that make you rich book. Anyway, he has a story in there about a family who owned property. They were oil digging and they were looking for gold back in the day during the California gold rush, and they gave up 3 feet away from the gold that they were about to reach just because they did not believe that they could do it, because they did not see the results fast enough or in the way that they wanted to see the results. So I have been going through that journey with this process for so many years that I always knew that, this is what God wants me to do. Like, this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Talking, speaking, using my voice, utilizing the lessons that I've learned, the lessons that I'm still learning, the journey that I've been through, the revelations that God has given me. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I'm finally in an atmosphere where it just feels so free. Like, I just feel so free with this. Like, it just feels so free and it feels so fun. Like, I haven't had fun with something that I've pursued in a long time. And I've gone to college, I've gone to cosmetology school, I have my real estate. Like, I have so many different things underneath my belt, but this right here has always been a soft spot and a sweet spot and a gentle spot and a trying spot and a growing spot for me. And I'm just so excited that I'm in the space that I am in, to be able to have these conversations with y'all, to be able to journey with you all, to share what God has given me. So today, I want to talk about, so this is actually a kind of a two-part, and I'm not going to do a two-part. I'm not going to do a two-part, but it's a topic that I genuinely think that we need to take more time of cultivating, and that is understanding of self. And I know I have another episode of awareness of self, but this is a little bit different. This is about keeping it real with yourself, because I think a lot of us get entangled in situations, and it's so easy to be able to point the finger, and it's so easy to be able to say what the other person did, but what did you do? You know what I mean? And this dynamic does not apply to all circumstances and all situations. Please apply as necessary. But what did you do in that situation? What energy did you carry that even attracted this kind of person or this kind of energy into your life? I don't think we ask ourselves those questions enough. Like, it's so easy to say, well, they were toxic, but there was a cycle between the two of you. So wouldn't that in some type of way, go along the statement of you were both toxic, or one of you were toxic and just feeding off of the energy of the other one for some reason? And it's hard, to look at yourself and be like, well, damn, like I was wrong. Like, damn, I was really toxic. Damn, I was the problem. Damn, it's me. And a lot of times we don't want to do that because those questions come along with a season of isolation. And depending on, your patterns and how deep the breaking needs to happen within ourselves depends on how long we find ourselves in that isolation pattern. I know for me, I was entangled in a situation for 12 years, y'all. 12 years. And when I look at it in hindsight, I went through so many different emotions when I look back on it. You know what I mean? Like, I went through the what is it? The 7 stages of grief, the anger, the bargaining, the everything with my role and the toxicity of it all. And with her, it wasn't even physical. Guys, when I tell you guys, the way that my connections work, it's never a physical thing first. I'm not like some weird non-physical person. It's just, that's not who I am initially. So when I connect with people, I always somehow get their souls first. Like, I don't know how it works. It does not happen often. So that's another reason why I get kind of wrapped up into it sometimes. It's because it does not happen often. I'm not a, and I don't want to say this in a way that it comes across offensive. I'm not whorish in my spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need the validation of too many people. I don't need to date a whole bunch of people to know what I like or what's not going to work. I don't need to have sex with a whole lot of, I'm just not that kind of person. My friends are, I love them. I love that energy that they have and they possess when it comes with common sense attached to it. But that's not who I am. So with her, I met her when I was young. That first love kind of vibe. And for a long time, especially when I was younger, the way that I approached love, the way that I understood love was rooted in pain. So the cycle that we were in of one of us being able to admit it, the other one not being able to, one of us dating somebody and trying to play the little mind game of cat and mouse, playing little mind games against each other, the other one doing the same thing. It was just this constant back and forth, this tit for tat, this trying to one up each other, we were battling to see who was more heartless, who could give more at the same time care less, who could not show up. And like, it was just this weird dynamic, and it lasted for 12 years. And the reason why it lasted so long, it wasn't because of her. It was because of her, but at some point it became because I wouldn't draw lines, because I liked the dynamic, because the little bit that she would give, when she would give it, somehow validated my existence and my experience and the angle in which I wanted to hit with relationships and love. And for so long I would blame her and I would get angry at her and I would try to romanticize the idea by, seeing more of her potential than the reality that was being shown to me. And I broke my own heart and I broke my own spirit, and I enjoyed it. I couldn't even sit here in front to you, like when I blocked her on this page or when she blocked me on this page, and somehow, some way she still pops up in my notifications or in my story views. There was a part of me that enjoyed it. I enjoyed the attention that she would give, the attention that she would go out of her way to give, even though the dynamics of it was toxic as hell. Us stalking each other's social medias from other pages that we created, or in her case from her baby dad's pages, or relationships that didn't work out pages she still got access to they shit, or from her friends' pages, or whatever have you. We were playing this game, and this game that was detrimental to both of us, because what I wanted, I was never going to get. And what she wanted, she was never going to get. The role that I wanted her to play because of what I romanticized about her, she was not that she would never play it. Not that it would have never eventually gotten there, because at the end we got into a different level of connectivity. Not saying that it would have, but I wasn't willing to wait. And that was the problem. I thought that me waiting was a sign of loyalty. I thought that me waiting was a testament to my love. I thought that me being there when she called was a testament to my love. I thought that me knowing her relationship status is still creating space for her was a testament to some type of nobility that I possess, when in reality I was breaking my heart. When in reality I was sitting here participating in something and still allowing blame to be cast on the other person. And in her mind, she felt victimized because it's not just me, it's you too. And I wouldn't or couldn't allow myself to admit the role that I was playing. So I made her a villain. Now, granted, she solidified a lot of these understandings, but at the same time, when it came to our dynamic, I was a participant. I allowed the space for her to play with my emotions. I allowed, and I mean, I say for her to play with my emotions, for emotions to be played with. Because again, that creates space for blame, as if it was one when it was both of us. It was both of us. I knew what I was dealing with, and I still decided to participate, thinking that my love was enough to change it, thinking that my loyalty was enough to change it. And then I started to equate the worth of myself, of my individual, beautiful, magnificent, amazing self, on the actions of another person. Instead of just being real with myself and taking the time to see where my hand is playing a role at in this chaotic cycle. And because there was so much mistrust built up off of the foundation of this one connection, because it lasted so long, from teenage until my adulthood. You know what I mean? It lasted so long. Because there was so much mistrust, now I'm taking this thinking out on every person that I encounter. Every person that I encounter is now reflecting a cycle within myself that I didn't even know that I was truly participating in. Or I did know, and I just wasn't yet ready to acknowledge within myself how deep my participation within this process is. I wanted to compartmentalize my role. Made it seem like she put me in this position, or I was put in this place to have this kind of conflicting feelings, when the reality is I asked for it. The moment that I didn't create a boundary, the moment that I allowed space in the beginning of our connection to birth this indecisiveness. And then I had to get deeper. Where is that connection to people who aren't fully there from? And then you bring it back to childhood. And I'm working through it, and I've gotten better, and I'm more aware of them now, but attachment issues. Imagine being 5 years old and waking up and your mom is just gone. And you're walking around the streets, literally looking for all the people who were usually around, and nobody's there. I remember running through the precinct after the police picked me up, and running through the precinct, and people just grabbing their arms out through the cells trying to get me because I'm looking for my mom. It created this cycle of wanting. I wanted a safe space, but at the same time, I felt rejected. So I attached myself to women, to relationships, to friendships that left a want. That left a desire, left this feeling of I can be picked up and dropped off again, when the reality is the want inside of me is attracting people who cannot give. It's not to say that they never can. It's not to say that there was never going to be a growth that would have happened within the connections that I've had that have failed, or within the individuals, within myself. It's just to say it wasn't the time. And instead of accepting what my problem was and how my problems were being played out in front of me in these relationships, in these friendships, I made them the enemy. I refuse to be 100 with myself. I refuse to say to myself, you know what, sis, like, you're bugging right now. You're bugging. And if you know me, then you know my mouth is vicious, dog. My attitude can go there. Can go there. But in that type of energy, in that kind of being, in that kind of thinking, you create this dynamic of defensiveness in situations that it does not call for. It does not call for. All right, and this next message is for the podcast. We're going to take a quick break. I hope you enjoyed this next little song. I hope you bop out and rock out and come back in the next segment with us. Listen, when we take the time to understand ourselves, when we take the time to sit in our reactions, our responses, our ways of thinking, our ways of being, our ways of doing, our ways of speaking, we are able to learn a whole new world. And for a long time, it was hard for me to accept that journey. You know what I mean? Because my whole life has been cultivated around this journey. And that's a whole nother conversation that I want to have, y'all. And it's about, you know, nature versus nurture type thing, you know, predestined fate type vibes. Because the way that I see it is, although we have freedom of choice, although we have the power to create our own dynamics, and depending on the choices that we make, it leads us down different paths that are in operation of different realities. You know what I mean? I feel like every choice, though, leads to a predestined reality. There are so many different paths, and I think about that with my life, and even with wanting to do these conversations, wanting to have these conversations, thinking this deep about myself. Okay. I've met so many people who get it but don't at the same time. And for a long time, it felt very lonely. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody thinks this way. Not everybody feels this way. And those who do are not necessarily open. You know what I mean? Like the introverts who are this way. It's mainly introverts that I met that are like this way. We spend so much time alone. We think so much and overthink so much, so we understand a lot of things in ways that a lot of other people don't understand. And this is not to say that other people don't understand it before y'all start coming for me. No, that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is, when you spend time in isolation, there's a certain understandings that you have about certain things in ways that you wouldn't had you been surrounded by noise. I don't know what that is. Don't ask me. You know what I mean? It could be the same connection as the same thing with a meditation, and just the silence. The silence of you, your thoughts, your energy, your processes, your working out. And it's not everybody who is an introvert that is like this. That is not for everybody. But for the ones who are, you get what I'm trying to say. When you spend so much time, it just, you know, it's just this kind of disconnect that you kind of have from people sometimes. And I used to think of it as a bad thing. But being able to know myself has saved me the burden of other people's heartbreaks, especially as it pertains to relationship issues. Like, I listen to my friends and they dating dynamics and they all of that. And I'd be like, well, dag, friend, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even feel a little bit bad. Like, you just ghosted that person for no apparent reason, because this is a real life story right here. One of my friends ghosted this girl because she was too nice. I know you can't see my face on a podcast, y'all, but she was too nice. Like, what are you trying to say? Like, what do you want, sweetheart? What do you want? And for me, it's like that's like having blood on your hands. And I'm just so, like, my thinking is so extreme. Like, there's no in-betweens with me when it comes down to Foundational stuff. I know what it's like to be on the other end of somebody being indecisive or wanting to play the dating game, but not being honest about playing the dating game and playing too close to the vest because they don't want niggas to know how they move in or whatever the case may be. So I know how it feels to be, you know what I'm saying, the nice guy in that situation. So I have a little bit of a small spot for the nice guy. You know what I'm saying? Like the good morning beautiful person. I'm that person. I don't care if that's corny. I don't care if that makes me this, that, and the third. I'm going to look at you as I look at you. And if I want to say good morning beautiful, you need to say good morning beautiful back. It's not, oh, she's corny, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's weird behavior. Y'all don't think that's weird? I think that that's weird. But that's just me. That's just me. But again, the way that I approach things and the way that other people have with me in the past is two different things. Now, it's not to say that I have never had a connection or a friendship that wasn't, you know what I mean, in alignment. I am loved down in real life on a daily basis. It's just in my past what it took to get here. And even in the dynamics of that connection, it took a lot to grow through. But it took first me being real and being honest with myself. I had to keep it a buck with where I was. When we got into an argument, what triggered it? On either end. What triggered it? What inside of you? The other day, I got into an argument. Not even an argument, a disagreement. You know what I'm saying? A disagreement, right? I'm trying to order dinner. We're on a certain kind of meal plan right now. We can't eat certain things. So I'm like, I want to share a meal with you. Cool. Let's order from the same place. Because they have a different relationship with food than what I have. Their anxiety raised when I brought up a certain kind of meal because they're not used to that. And it's hard for them to get out of their comfort zone with certain kind of things. Instead of being able to be aware of that disconnect within themselves, it triggered something. And then that energy was then given to me. Me being who I am. Mind your energy before I mind it for you. Then that sparks something. Because again, I'm still learning how to deliver my awareness. Just because I know, just because I understand doesn't mean that I always know how to give it. And I'm so hard on myself. When I see things within me that needs to change, I automatically give that energy to anything that needs to change. Even if it's in somebody else, in a dynamic that I'm in with them. You know what I mean? So it's a growing period, but it's something that we all need to know. Had I not taken the time to ask more questions, regardless of my delivery, not regardless of it, because that matters. Don't play with me, that matters. But in spite of my delivery, had I not taken the time to find out, she would have never gotten to the point where she could have, okay, my relationship with food is this. And because it's this, when it's triggered, it causes this kind of reaction. Awareness of yourself gives way to awareness for those around you. And I think that although I it could be labeled as selfish because I take whatever time and space that I need for me. If I can't, I can't. If I don't want to, I don't want to. If you don't see me, you're not going to see me. I have when it comes down to me, because a part of it is I've been in isolation for so long. So I have very bad social anxiety, and people would never, ever, ever think that because of my, personality. It's so bubbling and charming, and across the screen and on social media, like, sis got good vibes, and I do. But if you ever met me in person and I never talked, it's because I'm nervous as hell. Okay, and having a conversation with people, humans in real life, scares the hell out of me. That is something that I have within myself, and that's an awareness that I've had. But before I became aware of that, I made it seem like everywhere I went, everybody was at odds with me. They made me feel uncomfortable. Or did you see the way she was looking at me? Did you hear the whispers? When the reality is my anxiety was creating stories to keep me trapped within my isolation instead of creating space for growth, to be able to network, to connect, to grow, to build better bonds with people. You know what I mean? Being honest with yourself does not make you weak. It does not make you a bitch. It does not make you mean-hearted if you cannot show up, if you cannot give of yourself, if you cannot, even with your children. Parents, that's for you. That's another conversation for another day, though. Even with your children, we have to learn how to be selfish. And I don't mean that in a fuck the world kind of just go out here and do whatever we want and say whatever we want and treat people however we want, but in a way that we don't make ourselves martyrs to situations simply because we refuse to find out the roles that we are playing in it. I could have easily beat that girl up this last go around. Swear to goodness. Kid you not. I'm not here to front and I'm not here to be fake. What I'm here to be is honest. I could have easily shot her. I'm sorry. I'm not promoting violence. I'm not doing none of that. Don't do none of that. I could have easily reacted that way because I know myself. I know how deep and dark I can get. And I know how far I can go when my feelings are involved. When I'm unhealed in certain areas, when I did not have an awareness of myself, baby, we could have went to hell. We could have went to hell. And I would have gladly unlocked the gates for us. In that energy, I ruined a lot of opportunities, a lot of friendships. And even in the journey of understanding all of that, I self-sabotaged a lot of opportunities and a lot of friendships and a lot of connections. So knowing yourself and being able to deliver that message does not make you weak. It does not make you a bad bitch or strong to constantly wear some type of poker face. Being heartless, cold-hearted, fuck these niggas, city girl, city boy vibes. Listen, there's a time and space for that kind of energy because I understand it. You know what I mean? But there's a time and space, but all the time, as a personality, as a character, when the reality is you're just hurt. When the reality is you have a deeper wound that you don't want to discuss. When the reality is you think that vulnerability is a weakness. You think that you being able to share yourself makes you look like a pussy. You think that, and this is things that I used to say to myself, so excuse me if it's a little bit harsh. You think that admitting that you can't handle it or that it is hard or that this frightens you makes you look like you not strong. That you can't make it, but you can. It is in your knowing. It is in your knowing that creates space for true healing. That creates space for genuine connections, for real love to flow in a way that it has never flowed in your life before. But you have to take the time to get to know you. Sit in your shit. Sit in those emotions. Sit in those feelings, y'all. When I first moved to Maryland, it was so hard. I did not know how much noise was in here until I got away from my city. I did not know how much noise was in here until I got away from the voices that sounded like me. It was so hard. I was so hurt and so much pain and didn't even know. I just thought I was one of the gang. I just thought I was strong. I just thought I was just resilient. When really I was and I am. But underneath the way that I was presenting it was pain. Hate for self. I hated me. I hated me, y'all. I hated my whole existence. I hated me so much. My mom kidnapped me from the hospital when I was a baby. And although that's an inside joke now with her, in real life that was the truth. In real life, I needed a DNA test. In real life, like that's how deep I wanted to be removed from the life that I was given. All because I had created so many unhealthy cycles. Not taking time to be aware of myself. Not taking time to get to the root of my pain. Not taking time, and a lot of it I did by myself. A lot of it I did with other people. Therapists, life coaches. It has been a journey that does not end, that does not stop. There's going to be a next level that I'm going to reach, and it's going to bring up something that I thought I was over in this way, but then it's going to hit different in that way. See, we have to understand ourselves, because when we're presented with something, We need to know what's going on and how we're going to maneuver in it. To be alive is to be aware. And to be aware is to be able to know what roles we play in the dynamics in which we exist in. To understand what kind of relationships we are attracting and why they're here. What is this person bringing? Matter of fact, what am I bringing to them as well? How are they a role in my life and how am I a role in theirs? See, asking ourselves the hard questions. Why do they want a seat at their table? Better yet, why do I want a seat at theirs? Who am I becoming in this journey? Who am I becoming in this process? It's not just about how we feel. It's who are we turning into? Is this bettering me or bittering me? Bittering me. It's not always about the other person. Sometimes it's about just us. This is me versus me. I don't care how it looks to you. This is me versus me. I'm doing what God told me to do. It does not have to make sense to you. I could be ugly, fat, uneducated, whatever you want to call me. I can be all of these things, but guess what? I'm in alignment with the purpose that I have within my heart. At night, I sleep peacefully. Why? Because I know that what I'm doing is what God called me to do. I look up at my life every single day and I see the blessings in which He's given to me. And I live and I exist and I breathe and I don't need your validation. I need my own conviction. But to get there, for me to have gotten there to that point, it took a lot of work and a lot of self-awareness. A lot of self-awareness. A lot of asking myself, who are you? And that answer has changed in every season that I have stepped into. Who I am at my foundation, at my core, my morals, my values, they are who I am. My character, yes, but who am I stepping into the world as? That's different. Am I stepping into the world as the fear that I'm allowing myself to believe? Am I stepping into the world as the doubt? Am I stepping into the world as old storylines? Am I stepping into the world as anything less than what I know that I was created to be? Am I stepping into the world any less great than what I know I can be? How am I showing up? Who am I? And what is it that I'm looking for? And it's not in a usury kind of way where I'm only connected with people who are beneficial to me or I'm only doing things that are beneficial. It's in a way that it makes sense, that it adds and not takes away, no matter if it's from me or from the other person. And maybe that's just me. I'm never sitting somewhere where I can't be of service. If I can't do anything for you, why would I show up? And people are like, your presence is enough. That's not enough for me. I need to be able to do. If I can't do, I don't want to come. Because that's who I am. I need to serve. Because connections don't happen. Because friendships don't happen. Because I've been in such a weird place with that. When I do connect, I'm here to serve. How can I be of? How can I be of? And I've been like that my whole life, but for the longest time, it wasn't because I'm a server. It was because I wanted to be validated. It's because I wanted those people to find worth in me because I didn't find it in myself. It's because I wanted them to love me in ways that I could not fathom to love myself. And the only way that I knew how to do that was to give. Give. And I would tell myself, I'm just a giver. But no, baby, you was being used. And it wasn't that they were using you. You were using yourself for all the wrong reasons. Whoring yourself out for the validation of other people. See, attachment issues. But it takes a deep knowing and a deep awareness and a deep okayness with yourself to be able to not only dive into it, but to admit that. I truly believe that it is because of that journey that I have survived life in itself. Like I was saying earlier, there are so many paths that I could have, should have, and would have traveled had it not been for the gift of self-awareness. Had it not been for that, had it not been for the gift of being aware, had it not been for paying attention to the fact that that voice in the back of my head was asking questions and ask those questions myself afterwards, I don't know where I would be, who I would be. if I would not have taken that journey, if I was not on this journey. So I implore you to take the time to ask yourself who you are, what you want, why you are doing what you're doing, speaking what you're speaking, thinking what you're thinking, sitting in those emotions, cutting off the things that you usually hold up as a distraction, whether it is partying, whether it is niggas, whether it is females, whether it is smoking, whether it is drinking, whether it is whether it is whatever, TV, social media, eating. Whatever it is, I implore you to disconnect yourself from that. Even if it's for a day, even if it's for an hour, even if it's for a minute. Take steps where and when you can. And make way for a bigger, enlarging understanding. Your elevation, your blessing, your breakthrough, everything that you want is on the other side of you taking that risk of letting go of what's familiar and stepping into the unknown in the most healthiest, happiest, most aligned way possible. And no, it won't be easy. Yeah, it sounds real good, I know, but it won't be easy. It will be rather difficult. It will require things of you that you have never had to give before. But baby, it will be beautiful and it will be worth it, and you will be proud. And I like pride. I like being proud. I like smiling at myself. I like looking at myself like, girl, if they only knew. Ha! If they only knew. If they only knew. If they only knew. Why would I get upset? If they only knew. You don't know. See, that's why. That's why you act in this way, because you don't know. But if you only knew. And I'm grateful for the knowing that I have, because it has led me to such miraculous journey of healing, of understanding, of elevation, of growth, of becoming somebody better, somebody greater, somebody more worthy of the vision that God has instilled inside of me. I am so happy that y'all joined me again for another episode of Conversations with God through you. I cannot wait until Friday. Friday, y'all, is going to be lit. Okay, it will be episode 2 of our new series of Healing After Dark. Okay, as we say there, I don't care if you have to pour up, roll up, or charge your vape up, as long as you pull up on us on Friday. Pull up on us on Friday and join us for our little ratchet Bible study. It gets so real. It gets so raw. Y'all know the vibes that we have at Conversations with God through you. It's your girl, Daunessy Shaitaire. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to share if you're watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to become a part of the fam if you're listening on both stations. Like, come on, gal. Let's tag team this shit. Let's tag team this journey. It's time to elevate. It's time to become. I can't wait. I can't wait to see you all. I can't wait to meet you all. I can't wait to love on you all. See y'all on Friday. Yeah.